Hey everyone, Alan Bauer here, Bay City, Michigan. So, for those of you that thought this coronavirus pandemic was going to be a couple week thing, and then we're just going to go back to normal, you can see it's already gone past that point. So you see, we're talking another month now. Some people are talking till June, but when you listen to some of the people, some people are talking 12 months, 18 months. So the thing is, though, the world has changed. I mean, not just the United States, not just Michigan here, but the entire world. And listening to a lot of business owners, and a lot of the places are not going to open back up. A lot of them have shut their doors, not by choice. Some did by choice. Like some of the restaurants, they said, hey, we're done, like permanently done. Even some of the major chains. So I think things have changed forever. And I'm not saying we're going to be on lockdown forever and confined to our house and live this way of life. But I say when it's all over, we're not going back to normal. That previous life is gone. There are going to be some changes. People are going to think about this. A lot of employers too are. And when I say changes, it's not negative changes. Yeah, there's some negative changes that happen, and some of these businesses are not coming back. You're going to have people that lose things, their house, their livelihood, their business. There is going to be some negative. There's going to be some turmoil there. You're going to see some major businesses go out. You see some weird things going with the financial markets. There's going to be this big ripple effect, and with all these people unemployed and everything, it could ripple on to like the housing market, the real estate market, commercial real estate market. A lot of these business owners are saying, you know what? Because some of them actually took action. There's two things you can do here. As a person, as a business owner, you can sit back and you can be afraid and you can just sit there and wait for the government to help you out, and hope all this goes over and you put your life on hold and you say, okay, well, when this is all over, hopefully the government takes care of me and then I go back to my normal way of life. And I'm telling you, the normal way of life is one thing you're not going back to, ever. I think we've changed permanently here. And a lot of business owners that I've talked to, the more proactive ones, where they've sent their employees home, um, they're working remotely from home. And a lot of these business owners are looking at this and they say, you know what? Why the heck do we have all this office space? Why are we paying all this money for office, all this utilities and overhead expenses and having everybody commute and drive back and forth and they're saying, you know what, we're operating right now. We're operating with remote employees. Maybe this isn't such a bad thing. They think, what if this happens again? What if there's a second wave of this virus, a third wave of this virus? What if it's a seasonal thing? What if a new one pops up next year? Do you want to be on a government mandated shutdown time after time when you know that you got everything flowing in right now? So I think a lot of employers and employees are liking the remote network. And this could be a blessing in disguise. This isn't, it may seem horrible at first, but this could be a real blessing in disguise. And I look at things like we always had to have these meetings and things like this. You know what? Businesses, even some governments, local governments, things are doing virtual meetings. Um, you can get on the Google Chats, Zoom camera. People can still have their meetings. They can say everything they need to. You're at home, like in an environment like here. You get on the camera, you do your little meeting, and you go about your business. Employers can still monitor things. They can monitor production. Maybe the way that we get paid will change. Maybe there'll be, I don't know, there's going to be big shifts here going on, especially with some of these major chains. When you see major restaurant chains can't afford the rent after, a month or two, something's wrong there. Something's wrong when we have this much debt And you look at everything. It makes us question our whole way of life. Like, why are we doing things the way we've been doing it? Just because we've always done it in the past. Now something comes along and it kind of kicks us in the butt and says, hey, you need to make some changes. And like I said, some people sit back in fear. They're totally afraid. Individuals, business owners, they lock up the doors, or they're hoping the government's going to bail them out. But is that really going to happen? Can you continue the same thing? And I watch another thing happening here too, like where I live in Bay City. The water level's been extremely high. I think this is the second year. Excuse me. This is the second year where the water levels are raising. It's making me rethink things. Like, I always thought, like, hey, I'd love to have a house on the water, right on the river or something. Maybe that's not such a good idea. I was thinking too, like for our CBD business, hey, wouldn't it be cool to, buy a retail store, have like a 2-story place, have the retail store below and live up above it. Now I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, you know what? The electronic version that we have for free is pretty damn good. I kind of like that idea. So we're still able to continue with our business. Now, are there some challenges and ripple effects? Yeah. Because when people lose their jobs, or they get afraid, they're scared, they stop purchasing things. We had some people, send in for a refund or something like that, because they don't want to have the products, they don't know where their money's coming from, they panic. This is a lesson to everybody too. It's okay. There's a difference too between hoarding and stockpiling. Stockpiling stuff is having enough resources available. It's kind of like even money. If you don't have enough money to make it to the next payday, you're going to have issues if an emergency comes up. Minimal, you want 1 month. Ideally, you want about 3 months if you have a steady income. Best case scenario, or if you're self-employed and you got fluctuations going, you probably want at least 6 months. 6 months would be pretty good. Same with, the businesses, things like that. You got, food and everything else. Like we're stocked up here. We're doing good. If they boarded my door up tomorrow, we could survive here for at least 3 months, probably 6 months. We're good. Do I want that to happen? No. But you got to look at it too, business-wise. So a lot of these jobs are going away, and they're not going to come back. But there's going to be some shifts. And I foresee a lot of these bigger businesses are saying, you know what, we're going to go more automation so we don't have to rely on employees in case something happens, because we don't have to worry about robots being affected. So I think there's going to be a push for that, which is going to eliminate some more jobs. But then as far as the people side of it goes, a lot more people will be able to work at home. Now this opens up something too, because you don't have to live in some big expensive city like New York City or San Francisco or some place like that where you have high paying jobs, but the cost of living so high that you're still, just treading water to survive there. You can live in lower cost areas. Most of these places, as long as you have a good internet speed and, a phone connection, you can work from anywhere. You don't even have to be in the US. You can work outside the country. So this is a golden opportunity to take advantage and think about things like, okay, things have changed. Instead of just sitting there and hoping everything goes back to normal, which I'm telling you, it isn't. It is never going back to normal again. There'll be a new normal, and it can be a better normal. A lot of people are going to get left behind in this, but there's people that are also going to thrive. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the boat that you're fearful and you get left behind because you're depending on somebody to bail you out? Or do you want to be on the opportunity side and say, okay, now's the time in my life where I need to make a change. I want to change my life for the better. What's something I've always wanted to do? What's going to fit into this new economy? And that's why Karen and I do our online business. So just wanted to give you something to think about. We're with our business. This also opened up other opportunities, some immune boosters that are coming out here that have some really good immunity boosting potential. They've been around for years. but we got a special formulation on it, and we're adding that on to our CBD. We're not just a CBD company. I always promoted the CBD. I thought that was a thing, but it's nice to see we're getting into more of the more health and wellness products here too, and we're on the cutting edge technology. So if you're looking for a home business opportunity, you can go to joincbda.com. Again, that is joincbda.com, and check us out. Or, if that's not your thing, then come up with your own ideas. What do you want to have for a business? Maybe it's not going to be a traditional brick and mortar. Maybe you want to think remotely, something you can do from anywhere in the world, do from your own house, do wherever you have an internet and a laptop connection, and be able to do that. Maybe you can do it just on your mobile phone. So something to think about. Like I said, you can check us out or come up with your own ideas. Let me know what you're thinking. How have you been impacted by this? What are your thoughts? Business going on as normal? Do you still think you're just going to go back to work? Everything's going to be the same and we're going to go back into the same little thing? I think there's going to be more remote opportunities for schools, colleges, everything. We're going to see a big shift with this. Just my thoughts, my opinion. Let me know what you think. Thanks.